What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Recher Reacts. I am your host, Jay Recher. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Monday night. Is it still Monday? Yes, we got 9 minutes left before the clock hits midnight, and then it's Tuesday morning. I know sometimes I really shouldn't say good night because it's probably an early morning, but we know when we end the day, it's going to be right here on Retro Reacts. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, uh, everywhere. I'm TikTok. Make sure you follow me on TikTok. I'm trying to get those followers up as well too. And if you're not watching me on YouTube, head on over there. Check out. I got all of my videos up there. Whether it's the full live videos, whether it's the videos I cut up, we do a little bit of everything. So. Make sure you like and subscribe on my YouTube, just like one of my former players here, Anthony Spezia. Coach Jay, was good, baby. I got to apologize to Anthony. I got him thrown out 3 times at third base in the tournament one time because I was trying to teach him how to steal third base properly. And then after that, he was absolutely money. But I just kept getting him thrown out over and over and over at third base. So, Anthony, I know you remember that. I appreciate you. I love you. Send my love to your entire family, buddy. But yeah, more on, my necessarily not coaching, but playing. And we'll talk about that as I threw out the first pitch tonight before the Rays matchup with the Twins. We'll also talk about Florida and Florida State. What the hell's going on there? And then finally, a Monday Night Raw recap as well. It was a great night at Tropicana Field, meeting and seeing so many different people there at the Trop, seeing Rich Hollenberg, seeing Denard Spam before the game. Billy Matthews was there, seeing all the pitchers from the Tampa Bay Rays. They came up, took a bunch of pictures with the girls. It was really, really cool. Just shows you like there's a lot of first class dudes in this organization, including Ryan Pepio. More on him in a minute, but just a really, really cool experience today at Tropicana Field to be able to be there for batting practice. My guy Steve Carney was there. Shout out to our producer James Donlin for being there as well. Our folks at Russ and the folks at Buddy Baseball were there. I'm going to do some stuff with them, in not just because he did that, but um, in memory of our guy Dave Wills, who we lost too soon. One of the all-time great voices of the Tampa Bay Rays, and Buddy Baseball meant so much to him. And I know Neil Solons, Rays radio voice, does a lot of good things for Buddy Baseball, and I will continue uh, that legacy and continue to try to have more people give their time to Buddy Baseball. You're going to hear me, you're going to see me in the Temple Terrace area because that's the least we could do, right? For these youngsters that unfortunately are dealing with some ailments, but they make the most of it. And being out there for just an hour a day, it changes their lives. Their self esteem goes up, their energy goes up. And Dave Wills was such a big part of Buddy Baseball, and you will definitely be seeing me there in Temple Terrace with that group. I cannot wait to get on out there. So yeah, out there for the first pitch before tonight's game. And I said before I was throwing out the first pitch, and I was supposed to originally do it back in June. I hurt my knee. I was in the hospital for a couple days, and didn't know if it was going to be rescheduled. Shout out to Sarah Erickson and the Tampa Bay Rays for letting me reschedule it. And I was, it was scheduled for tonight, Labor Day. I know it was tough for a lot of people to make it, but shout out to everybody that was there in attendance. Um, my whole big thing was like, I don't care if I bounce it. I don't care if I overthrow. Ryan Pepio, Ray's right hander, who was going to catch for me. I didn't really care. I just wanted to do my Hideo Nomo thing, hands over the top, turn my back. Like, I just wanted to have fun with it. If I bounce it, I bounce it. Whatever. I didn't really care. Because I've pitched at that distance many, many times in my life before. And I don't get embarrassed. I don't really care. It is what it is. I just wanted to have fun with it and to be able to be on the field and get introduced. Well, I got it. And it's my buddy Steve Carney. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Steve Carney. Let's see how the first pitch looked today. I'll share the stage with you there and hit the play. Here's what it sounded like and looked like.
Ceremonial first pitch. Please welcome the co-host of Jay and Zach, heard every day starting at noon on Tampa Bay's Home of the Rays, 95.3 WTAP and AM 620.
Out there now.
Jay Recher.
At least. All about the wine. No more style. What a scoop.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Recher.
All right, so it wasn't like your traditional, like, oh, he bounced it because, like, he came up short. It was a little different there. Mine was, I yanked it. So it was a little different. I yanked it to the side. It was like a breaking ball. And like my guy Anthony says, appreciate you, double A. High 80s on the gun, right? You got to have fun with it, man. I know it wasn't pretty. It is what it is, right? Um, but yeah, it was a blast. And listen, to be honest, I was pissed. So because you want to throw a strike, I'm a competitor at the end of the day, right? But to be able to get that opportunity, I think is the most important thing to remember, right? To get the opportunity to be able to be on a pitcher's mound of a major league team and to be able to have the opportunity to do that, like you can't let your own ego get in the way of being upset about something like that. So, um, yeah, it is what it is. But I had a blast, and again, thank you to the Rays for giving me the opportunity to do so. And I'm sure you're going to hear people um, make fun of it or whatever. I did have one of our great people on Twitter. Hold on, I got to share this with you guys here. Check this tweet out from Jaws for Bolts. Okay, Jaws for Bolts with the tweet of the night. I'm going to share this guy for you right here. My favorite tweet of the night. Here, look at this one. Of all the first pitches that bounced, this has got to be the best one I've seen. Great catch makes it look better too. Jaws for bolts. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you for making my night. And go follow Jaws for Bolts too. Give him some more followers. Ray's best record and stuff and play back to back stand like a big Bucks fan, Lightning fan, Rays fan. Go follow Jaws for Bolts. So let's get those listeners and subscribers up for him. Um, yeah, good stuff there. But yeah, I know some people coming at me on social media too, like, oh, you're an embarrassment. Like, I don't care. You think you spreading that bad, you think you like making fun of me is gonna ruin my day? Nah, not happening, man. We're here having a good time. We're here having fun. I was pissed because I'm a competitor, but in no way, shape, or form am I gonna feel sorry for myself. Not a chance. Nor do I think I was an embarrassment to anybody. Who cares? If you're going to spread that kind of hate and negativity on social media, that says a whole hell of a lot more about you than it does me. I'm the one that got a chance to do that, and I had a good time, and I got to share it with my loved ones. So a lot of good pictures. I know the Rays are going to send a video. Our guy James Dolan's gonna he's gonna make a video too. But yeah, it was a blast. I had a good time. So thank you to the Rays. It was something I'll never forget. You never know. Get some redemption. Maybe I get a chance to do it again one day. It is all good. And I got to be honest. One of the things that made me feel a little bit better about myself is I get home and I see what the hell happened with Florida State as they lose 28-13 to Boston College. What is going on in Tallahassee with Mike Norvell and the Seminoles? DJ Uyunglele, uh, I, I did not think he was going to be the answer anyway. I mean, you go from Clemson to Oregon State and now to Florida State, and they were just trying to keep those good vibes going from last year. And it's more than just him, but he's not the answer. He's nowhere close to what Jordan Travis was for this team when he was under center for Florida State. And it is the harsh reality for that big year that you have going undefeated in the regular season, getting blown out by Georgia, and then thinking that, hey, we'll just reload and things will be better, and they haven't, not at all. And you just look at how much they ran the ball 16 times for 21 yards. DJ Uyunglele threw the ball 42 times. We knew that this guy wasn't going to be kind of the bee's knees. Nobody thought that this guy was going to be a big time quarterback for Florida State. But my goodness, throwing the ball 42 times. And you can blame the players, but that, I mean, that's on the coaches too. This is this is the whole kit and caboodle here. This isn't just on DJU. This isn't just on the rushing defense. And we'll get onto that in a second. This isn't just on the coach. It literally is on everybody. And to think just because you were good last year means that you're going to be good this year, uh, that's not how it goes. It's a new season every single year. You can have great draft classes. You can do well in the transfer portal, but you have to answer the bell every single time. And they were lucky to not lose to Boston College last year. Let's not forget. So they knew with Bill O'Brien, pro style offense. I mean, even I say pro style offense, but Castellanos was running the ball a lot. It just kept running the same play in the first half. It seemed like it was Mind-boggling that there wasn't any adjustments made early. And once again, Florida State comes up short and they start 0 and 2. 10th ranked in the country going into the season. They will not be ranked. I know that's the understatement of the century there. They will definitely not be ranked when we see the rankings come out here in the next couple of days. But after watching what just happened between Florida State and Boston College, who has had an uglier start to the season? Is it the Florida State Seminoles or the Florida Gators? And you look at Florida State, the way that they lost that first game to Georgia Tech, heartbreaking field goal there in Ireland. But you saw the Noles. They scored on the first drive of the season, and then Georgia Tech answered right back. And then you look in this game where Boston College was in control. Florida State was able to cut it down to 21-13. And you're like, all right, they're within one score. And Boston College comes right back and scores a touchdown to make it 28-13. And that was it. That was the final score right there in the third quarter. Neither team scored in the fourth. Just to, Florida State looks so undisciplined. There's just so many things wrong with the Noles right now. Okay, whether it's DJ Uyunglele as the quarterback, he's not it. Okay, whether it's the rushing defense after giving up 190 yards on the ground in Georgia Tech last week. Oh yeah, even worse this week, 263 yards. I don't care who your quarterback is. If your defense is giving up over 200 yards, 260 yards, 263, sorry, that's not going to cut it. And undisciplined, unsportsmanlike conduct penalties on the kickoff, after the play. Like, what is going on there? Not good. Then you look at the Florida Gators. I mean, we talked about it on Saturday night. Losing that game to Miami is one thing. How they lost the game is even worse. Graham Mertz hurt. It looks like it's going to be DJ Lagway starting this week. Okay. They're another team. Manhandled at the point of attack. Manhandled in the trenches at the line of scrimmage. And then you see Billy Napier up there during his press conference talking about you can't worry about the criticism for people that live in people that live in their basements in Central Florida. Hey, Billy, who the hell has basements in Central Florida? Come on, man. What is going on? First off, have some semblance of a clue of where you are. And secondly, who the hell cares what anybody else is saying? You have the worst record over a 3-year span that we've seen from any Gators coach, any of them, in the last 80 years. I saw something on social media today just running through the numbers for Billy Napier. This is a historically bad run for the Gators. Go look up Zook, go look up McElwain, go look up Muschamp. Not even them. Those three guys, they weren't as bad as this dude right here. I think one of the stats was Billy Napier lost his last 3 games at the Swamp, and Urban Meyer lost 2 games at the Swamp in 5 years. Are you kidding me? Billy, lame duck as lame ducks go. I mean, not good. Not good at all. So Florida State is you could say Florida State has an uglier start or has had an uglier start because the expectations were that they were going to at least be a factor in the ACC. They were number 10 going into the season. I think a lot of people knew that Florida wasn't probably going to be too good, especially with that horrible schedule. But man, it is not good in Gainesville or Tallahassee. And they're going to square off at the end of the season. And it's like the mid bowl. Maybe. Those teams could be battling for a bowl at that time. I don't know. We could be headed for losing seasons for both the Gators and the Noles. But which one is worse? Because they're both freaking awful. That sucks, man. And I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't. I grew up as a guy that really liked Florida State because I enjoyed guys like Peter Warwick and Warwick Dunn, and I loved Charlie Ward. He's my favorite college football player of all time. I just thought he was the man. 2-sport star. He was a point guard for my Knicks too. I loved Charlie Ward. I think when you talk about all-time greats in college football when it comes to quarterbacks, he doesn't get nearly enough attention nor love. He was a badass. Brooks and Sanders, and I love that Ron Simmons went there. A big wrestling fan, obviously, more on Monday Night Raw here in a bit. So, and then when I first moved down here back in 2005, my buddy, Tad Criswell, big Gators fan, so I watched a lot of Gators. And that first year with Chris Leak and Tim Tebow, just the way that Urban Meyer and Dan Mullen, and all those guys, they utilized so many different players, and there was no egos on that team. Like Leak was the starting quarterback, but anything short yardage, you brought Tebow in. Leak didn't mind; he didn't care. Like it was just it was a beautiful freaking flow that they had, and they just got better and better and better. Two national championships. What a fun team! I know there's non-Florida fans out there that want to say all these different things. Whatever. They were one of the most fun teams to watch for 3 4 year span, and Tim Tebow was special, special athlete, special dude all the way around. And I when I say that, I say that if I probably grew up in Florida, I'd probably be a Miami fan, right? That just that swag, like that's the kind of thing that I was into growing up. So I probably, if I grew up in the state of Florida and didn't move here when I was 20, I probably would have been a Hurricanes fan. But now it's all USF baby, go Bulls. Head into Tuscaloosa on Thursday as the Bulls take on the Crimson Tide of Alabama. I cannot wait for that game. It is going to be incredible. That is going to be a freaking awesome game. And I hope that USF is able to answer the bell. And you look at what Alabama was able to do in their first game against Western Kentucky, and Jalen Milroe was insane. But what is he going to do, right? What's the how is he going to be able to handle that like second game, right? What do? You put some stuff on tape here. Can you continue to be that good? And I think the it's going to be a much steeper hill to climb for a team like USF. I'm not denying that one bit. But it's also, if USF has nothing to lose in this game, and I know Coach Alex Golish doesn't necessarily like moral victories or silver linings, and I get that. And they played him tough as hell last year, but let's not forget that Jalen Milroe didn't play in that game. This has the opportunity, this has the chance to be something very special Saturday at Alabama. They're in Tuscaloosa. They're honoring Nick Saban, naming the field after him, and just to be able to be there is going to be a lot of fun. So I can not wait for that. All right, let's see what else we got going on today. Shout out to Ricky Pearsall, who got shot, former Florida Gator. He's going to be out at least 4 games after being shot out of the hospital. Wow, just for an athlete who is starting this next stage of his life, his career, and to have to go through something like that, like he's lucky he's still alive. And the gun violence out there, and it's wild, man. It's wild that we see things like this, and it's just so sad and so tragic. Um, Shout out to Ricky, man. I'm so glad that he was able to pull through, and that was really scary. It's really scary to see things like that, and it makes you look at life so much differently. You start thinking like, don't want to ever take things for granted because you just at an instant. It's not always about you. It's not about you always being careful. There's crazy ass people out there, man. Always keep your head on a swivel. My grandfather told me that before he passed away. That was the two things he told me before he passed away. He said, keep your eyes open and watch your back. You just never know, man. You never, ever know. All right, let's finish Retro Reacts tonight with Monday Night Raw recap, the WWE, and it starts with something that I really want to get into at the end, and it's talking about the announce team. And we'll save that for the end because I want to get into that. But start out with Rhea Ripley coming out there. She gets beat up, leg all jacked up from the Judgment Day. It doesn't seem like that storyline is over. So, okay, that's where we're going. We're incorporating Jey Uso into the storyline. It looks like temporarily. If you guys saw on some house shows, Jey Uso and Damian Priest were kind of already working together. And this is towards the end of his time in the Judgment Day. So this doesn't really surprise many people. I know they talked about it during the show tonight of like, oh, we have some, stuff and we have some baggage. I think any of the smart fans out there know, like, come on, man, like you're a baby face now, like you don't need to explain that. You can keep it moving. American Made in Alpha Academy, really good to see Tozawa doing some things tonight. A really good match between this. It was a mixed 6-person tag team match. Really, really, really good action. And for those people that say that, oh yeah, there's never any good wrestling, everything is storyline, and people talking on the microphone. that's not what I saw. I saw a hell of a match right there. Zelina Vega comes back, losing to Shayna Baszler. Not really sure what's the deal with Pure Fusion Collective. Lyra Valkyria comes out. She got taken out too. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I hate that for the majority, these segments, and they're getting time, they're going to be throwaway segments unless you put something legitimate behind it. It can't be beaten up a baby face, somebody else comes out, they get beat up. Like there's got to be some semblance of storyline and for people to care. Gotta have that. If not, it's just going to be the same old shit all the time. We don't want that, man. I want to be invested. I want to care, but it's just not happening right now. Next, one of the best segments of the night, without a doubt, CM Punk in the ring. He wants to be CM Gold instead of just CM Punk. So he is looking to move on past this Drew McIntyre story. I know that was his words after Bash in Berlin on Saturday, but if you tuned in Saturday night, I told you it was not going to be over. This is not over by a long shot. And then CM Punk, he's out there. He's ready to be the man. He's standing up on the announce desk. And here comes Drew McIntyre, trips up CM Punk. He's wearing this black hoodie and then just beats the absolute crap out of CM Punk. Gets him in the ring, beating him up. Then when he's down, he takes the bracelet off. He's looking at the bracelet. He's going to put it back on and then boom, pulls it apart, snaps the bracelet. We were waiting for that for weeks. Just the storyline, just a little bit better every single week. He beating the crap out of Punk again, Claymore, and then we see Punk backstage on on the stretcher there. He gets wheeled right before he gets to the ambulance, and because if you've watched wrestling for a while, you know that it doesn't end there, right? The attacks could continue, and here comes Drew McIntyre out of nowhere. He's beating the crap out of CM Punk. Punk looks like he's bleeding from the mouth. Drew McIntyre takes his thumbs and he's putting them. He's trying to gouge CM Punk's eyes out. Like that was good stuff right there, man. That was the way it is done, and this storyline is not over. I didn't think it was, but I loved the intensity from Drew McIntyre. That is how you get back into the thing, back into the swing of things. That's how you get, the upper hand once again, and we'll see how CM Punk responds. Next up was the Intercontinental Championship Contenders Tournament match. Dragon Lee, Dominic Mysterio, and Ilya Dragunov. And eventually, Dominic Mysterio, after interference from the Judgment Day, Damian Priest, and everybody, they run him out. And the finish to this match with Dragon Lee and Ilya Dragunov, two phenomenal styles. I love the style matchup here. And these guys were going at it. Ilya Dragunov ends up winning. Really, really good end to that match between two guys that just continue to impress every single time in the ring, in Dragon Lee and Dragunov. Oh, it's pretty cool right there. Number one contenders match between Damage Control and Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. And Alba and Isla win, so they're gonna wrestle Bianca and Jade one more time, rubber match. But the big thing last or in that match was that Kairi Sane tries a dive to the outside, and then Isla Dawn pulls Bianca in the way, so Kairi Sane hits her. But and I wasn't sure if I saw this correctly, but Kairi hit the announce desk really, really hard, and I don't know if it was like her hand or her face, but then you look into the ring and she was bleeding. She got drilled, or it was a hard fall, man. Right, her face right on the announce table. That was not a work at all. That was a rough, rough go of it. It was just kind of a funky spot there. So hopefully she's not out for too long. Next up, Gunther comes out, in ring segment on the mic. And as he's speaking, I'm thinking to myself, who makes sense? Who's the next guy to challenge Gunther for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship? It's not going to be Randy Orton. He's going to go back to SmackDown. Keep an eye out on him for what happens with him this Friday night. Who else is there? Is it going to be like a Sheamus? Nah, he's in the IC title hunt. Is it going to be like guy like Jey Uso? No, he's going to be in that match too. And right before this guy came into my brain, his music played, and that's Sami Zayn. And as soon as the music plays, you start thinking to yourself, hmm, the last time these two guys squared off in the ring, who won? Sami Zayn beats Gunther WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship after that long historic run from the ring general. And now Sammy comes out and he can say, "Hey, all these different things, like whatever, you're a great champion, blah blah blah. But the last time we mixed it up, I came out on top." And that's exactly what happens. Sammy starts rattling off all the names of these Intercontinental Championship greats, and Gunther says, "The one guy you didn't mention was you." So just a really good back and forth there, and no need for physicality whatsoever. That's fine. And Sammy goes, and he just, as Gunther leaves the ring, he kind of echoes those sentiments. He's like, "Listen, you could say what you want, but I'm coming for that world championship." And I love that. Really, really good stuff. Another Intercontinental Championship contenders tournament, Braun Strowman, after taking that crazy splash from Bronson Reed last week on top of the car, he defeats Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser after Pete Dunne pulls Sheamus out of the ring, hits him with the shillelagh. A little bit of a weird, I guess Braun Strowman gets taken out then in the four-way next week by Bronson Reed. That's kind of the next kind of thing in the storyline. Yeah, because I guess you can't have Bronson Reed in there because then you can't have him lose. Yeah, it's, kind of an interesting approach there. And then you finish off the night, Damian Priest and Jey Uso against the World Tag Team Champions, the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and JD McDonough. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, they come out. Obviously they're doing their things on the outside. Damian Priest and Jey Uso, they end up winning. So I guess it wasn't for the titles. Uh, so did they get like a tag team championship match? Like, that's kind of weird, right? Like, you beat the tag champs, so you would think, like, going step forward, that now they're gonna wrestle. Like, I don't know, that there's a little bit of a hole in the storyline there, because we know Jey Uso is going to be in this Intercontinental Championship match. But what happens here, right? Because you're gonna have Braun, Ilya Dragunov, Sheamus, oh, excuse me, Jey Uso. Who's going to win this match? Who is going to be the guy? Hmm. It's interesting because I don't think it's going to be Jey Uso. I think eventually we're going to get to this point, and I think somebody is going to cost him the match, and I think it's going to be somebody from the bloodline, because eventually, after Bad Blood, you have to get to a point where Jey Uso is in this bloodline storyline. But right now, he seems like he's got a good thing going. He's kind of partnering up with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. I wonder how they kind of like peel him off of there. Hmm, we shall see. All right, I want to finish the show talking about the new addition to Monday Night Raw, and that's Joe Tessitore. Joe Tessitore gives legitimacy to WWE, and I love that. And I say that, and you know how much I love wrestling, and I love the WWE, but I don't think it's a I don't think it's a bad thing to say. But Joe Tessitore gives a level of legitimacy to WWE similar to what we saw from Pat McAfee, but in a different way. Pat McAfee introduced kind of the main, like, WWE into certain streams of the mainstream, right? Pat McAfee did a great job of combining what WWE does with the rest of the sports world and the rest of pop culture. Joe Tessitore does it in a way of, this is a guy that's had experience calling big time boxing matches, big time football games, and now he's here in the WWE. And after one night, you can tell this guy is going to be a massive success. Now, there's going to be some timing issues. There's going to have to, it's a little bit of a learning on the job process for him. But when you listen to him tonight, the way that he knew exactly what to look for, he knew exactly when to start, like the timing tonight between he and Wade Barrett, I thought for the most part was extremely impressive. That's their first night working together on live TV, and I thought they did a phenomenal job. I really did, and I think it's only going to get better. And I saw Joe Tessitore at the Royal Rumble. I was lucky to be able to stand right near the hard cameras for the Royal Rumble. So there was a bunch of NXT people by us. There was Brandy Rhodes was there for a little while, and granted, I didn't sit down the entire time I was there. I'm not complaining at all, but I was literally standing by the hard cameras, and I saw Joe Tessitore sitting with Nick Khan right in the front row, and I said, "Hmm, that's interesting. Joe Tessitore, boxing, football, he seems really into this." And he's there with Tony Khan, and you know, it could have just been like a friendly thing, like, "Hey, you're in town, come check this out, big time pay per view." But it seemed like there was something there. And then when it got announced, I'm like, all right, well, that makes a lot of sense. This is one of the best play by play men in the game, and now he's here in the WWE. And again, he gives legitimacy to the product. He brings a known voice. He brings a respected voice, and you can tell he's a fan. You can tell he loves it, and you can tell he has play by play experience. This is a home run hire for the WWE, and I think he's only going to get better. I love that it's going to be him and uh, Wade Barrett on Raw, and then you're going to see Michael Cole and Corey Graves on SmackDown. I think this is kind of the two best like teams with play-by-play guy and former wrestler that we've seen. Like, and it's solid and it's steady, and it seems like it can stay that way for a while. Uh, it's exciting. It's very exciting, and I think it was a really, really smart move by the WWE, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here. All right, that's going to wrap it up for me here on Retro Reacts. A shout out to my guy, Anthony Espezia, for tuning in. And shout out, of course, as always, RIP Johnny Hockey, Johnny Gaudreau. That's another guy that, we lost way too soon. And, just bringing back to the Pearsall thing, he got lucky, but unfortunately, Johnny and his brother did not. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. I'm on them all. YouTube, like and subscribe. Every person subscribing certainly helps. I'm going to cut up these videos and put them on my social media accounts. Back on Jay and Zach starting at noon tomorrow on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we're off Thursday for a Rays Day game. And then Friday, I'll be in Birmingham, Alabama doing the show. And then Saturday, Bryant Denny Stadium there. USF and Alabama. Cannot wait. I cannot say it enough. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Thank you for the nice comments about the first pitch. Thank you for the terrible comments about first pitch. News on Twitter. Shout out Keith Carroll. Uglier start, Florida State or Florida. You put man you. Keith, you are a funny one, and you are not wrong. It's funny because I was thinking the exact same thing. You gotta throw Man United in there as well. All right, guys, I gotta roll. It's 12:24. I gotta get some sleep. I love you. We'll see you tomorrow night right here on Retro Reacts. Peace out.